it was all about the military industrial complex and the building of this web of lies to cover up, secret operations.
Doty? Richard Doty?
Yeah. And
Gosh.
you were saying that he was a plant.
I think he even told a story of how they used to wear standard uniform, do small changes like the name badge would be normal, but what was on it was just like bleep blah blah blah, just like weird lettering or symbols or something.
Right, but Greer's the one coming out saying that
they're fucking with us.
This is what they're planning on doing. So that's why I'm saying, why him in particular? Are people saying there's a possibility that he's a mole for the other side, basically, like a government plant or whatever?
I mean, Dr. Stephen Greer really could be bullshit. Bob Lazar could be working for the government. I mean,
I feel like there's got to be something else out there. I feel like we're not alone. I'm telling you, man.
So,
are we doing like a 5-part series still? Is that
it's actually, how many parts would that be?
It's 27-part series.
No, we're like 3. We're only on 3. That would be 4. So we 4. No, but I'm just curious because where we left it last time was the lesson learned about, who gives a shit, basically.
Oh, like what? Who do you believe?
Yeah, but with that, we were supposed to be doing some homework into some of these things, and we also, with being the best you that you can be, was also like, hey, let's play speculation. Let's play around with these thought experiments and stuff. So with knowing that we were supposed to do homework, just curious if you have actually done any, or has anything popped up on your radar of it. If so, what
specifically
any of it, Bob Lazar, Dr. Greer, any of that stuff, just out of curiosity.
I kept meaning to try and find another movie of his, but a bunch of them are on there, but they're all pay. I didn't feel like buying
There's a few on Amazon right now that are Prime.
I'll have to check that out.
The older ones.
But I did watch the entire one that you sent me. That was an older one.
Did I send you the one that was on Amazon? I think so, right?
But it was about the disclosure and the...
Yeah, that one was from 2014 or something.
The whole first third of it was all about the military industrial complex and the building of this web of lies to cover up, secret operations with reverse engine. What was their code name for the reverse engineering? The capture, retrieval, and reverse engineering that was done on crashed and or landed interstellar craft, if you will.
Yeah, there was a few names. None of them are coming to mind at the moment because I believe there was different aspects and each one of them had relative.
Project something.
Yeah.
Whatever it was.
Blue Book was the original UFO Majestic 12 and all that kind of stuff.
I thought that was the misinformation part of it or whatever project. I can't remember. There's so many of those projects. You have to study them to remember them all. I mean,
going back to that point of all of this, any of this could be misinformation. I mean, Dr. Stephen Greer really could be bullshit. Bob Lazar could be working for the government. I mean,
well, what's the angle with that particular? I mean, to me, that raises the question of so much of what he says is kind of counter to government. So, is that just this whole, what do they call that?
Narrative,
black flag operation or whatever it is, just to bump up this unreality to make everybody believe it. For what purpose? What's behind the need for having Bob Lazar and Dr. Greer and all these guys come out that you're now saying, there's a bunch of people out there calling into question whether or not they're just as crooked as that
Doty? Richard Doty?
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah.
Dude with glasses. Big mustache.
And you were saying that he was a plant.
Well, he says that he was specifically doing misinformation. Like that was his whole, he was doing psyops basically. That was his campaign.
That was his paid position. That's what he did.
I mean, it was, he stated, I think, as much as he would use like scare tactics. He would pay media to promote stories in certain ways. I mean, there was countless things that he would say. I think he even told a story of how they used to wear standard uniform, like Men in Black kind of thing, but at the same time they would do small changes, like the name badge would be normal, but what was on it was just like bleep blah blah blah, you know, just like weird lettering or symbols or something,
like alien glyphs type.
Because you as the individual being harassed and the scare tactics, they're coming after you to keep you quiet in a sense. It's almost like a mind fuck, because then as you start to recall the events of that, you know, or the things that happened at that event of like them harassing you and like scaring the ever living crap out of you, basically, you start to put these things together and it's like, did that actually happen then? So it's almost too, I mean, it's just basically, it's psyops, man. They're fucking with you.
Right. But Greer's the one coming out saying that
they're fucking with us.
This is what they're planning on doing. So that's why I'm saying, like, why him in particular? Are people saying there's a possibility that he's a mole for the other side, basically, like a government plant or whatever?
Well,
or a foreign government, wasn't it?
Well, that was the thing, is some of his credentials that they could prove put him back to being some part of like the Middle East, like Israel type. Actually, it might even be Israel. But so they were more or less showing that he has the relative sense of citizenship for another country before coming here, in a sense. So, you know,
again, how does that interfere with the message that he's giving, and why would, unless it's just a smear campaign?
So it's basically the fact of these different pieces. So knowing what you can prove with him, and then the things that they say weren't verifiable, like his different degrees and whatnot from the schools he was supposedly at, and all of those kinds of things. So it's all of that stuff in conjunction where it says either one, he's like Billy Carson and full of shit, or two, that's his backstory that you can find because that's what the government wants you to see, you know, or the vested interest that's supporting him doing this.
The Billy Carson thing gets me.
I
want to believe a lot of the stuff he says, but I don't really care about his credibility. But again, it goes back to like the end of our last episode. After a while, you're just like, who cares what the truth is? The truth is what you make it.
Right, man.
You know, just make it a good one.
Yeah, man. Well, and that's why I, with how we left it last time, it is a very freeing feeling. Like you said, that we get to choose. So why be all wrapped up in this kind of shit, and why not just be, this is today and this is what I'm going to do with it, and enjoy it for what it is. Why it's called the present, right?
Right. It's like, I'm not embarrassed to view any of this stuff because all in all, I can still consider it entertainment. But as far as like what the truth is, I feel like it's true. I feel like there's got to be something else out there. I feel like we're not alone. But as far as who to believe, it's hard to know. You know, it's...
Well, yeah, I mean, who can you trust? That's one of the big points you kept pushing on the last one.
Even if it's a lie, it's not all a lie. And everybody's not fully lying. So maybe the truth is just kind of spread across many different viewpoints. Who knows?
Well,
it's like how every religion got a part of the story.
Yeah,
Like, you kind of have to view it as a whole to understand what really happened, kind of thing.
I mean, you said it before about the I take 1% from each of them. So if we could take 1% of all of what's being dispensed to us, that it still leaves a really wide gap of what the fuck. Because regardless of what the reasons are that things are the way that they are, whether they're real or not, and what's being said, and like all that kind of stuff, there are controlling interests that want to dictate the narrative so that we follow foot with them. But
I mean, do you play that out in your head? Like, you think about that and you're like, I don't remember. I mean, unless my memory was wiped, because I've heard stories like that too. So you never know. But,
Men in Black. Hey, my man, you want to look at this thing?
Well, not even that, but just from if they are real aliens that abducted you or whatever. Like, I have no memory of that, but I've always wondered. It's like, you know, what would happen if you made contact with aliens? After all this, would you just be like, oh, you're probably not even real? Like, who knows, you're having the real experience. You know, you're actually meeting somebody from like another universe, another multiverse, another whatever it is. And you're just going, you're just government plant. Like, I can't live my life on either end of that scale. You know what I mean? Like right. Never believing it, and even seeing it for myself, I don't believe it. Well, even that's not enough.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, you'd have to like take me in your spaceship and
like on like a Scooby-Doo episode, like you're just trying to pull the mask off.
It's Mr. Henderson, and I would have gotten away with it too.
It wasn't for you
damn kids and that darn dog. Yeah. Well, right, and that. So regardless of who's running the narrative,
I feel like there's truth out there.
Oh, well, absolutely.
There's truth out there.
Well, I mean, regardless of who's running the narrative, you still get a choice. You know, I think that was the bigger point that we were getting at with all of it was you're always going to have vested interest. You're always going to have people pushing you this way and that. There's always going to be misinformation because not everybody wants to dispense everything, whether they have justifiable causes for it or not. The simple fact is there's going to be plenty of people with their story. Doesn't mean you have to believe it. Doesn't mean you have to buy into it. Doesn't mean you have to be a part of it.
Well, it still leaves you with the hard, cold truth that the only true believer of any experience like that is the experiencer. So until you have that day where you have an encounter, just, I guess, keep an open mind to every moment in your life. You can't rule it out, I guess, because could you imagine like totally blowing off something that should be like an amazing, life-changing experience?
Is meeting an alien
as being like, oh,
it's actually Alf. It'd be awesome.
I don't own any cats, so I'm not really worried about it.
I mean, I'm not into cats, so he'd be dope to have around.
Kind of
just take care of business for me. Absolutely. What do you mean?
That's a good point.
No questions or nothing. We get along just fine. But yeah, because if we think about it, as we've been discussing with parallel timelines, because the aliens could be us.
Future us. Is that?
Well, yeah. So these unidentified aerial phenomena. If that is us in this alternate timeline that is ahead of us in century, 2 centuries, whatever, 1,000 years, it doesn't matter. Just they're ahead of us timeline wise. Because we're so close in those universes or those dimensions, because those timelines are so very similar, why wouldn't we be able to cross over? I mean, especially if that's us in the future, having learned how to use element 115, like Bob Lazar talks about. We're now synthesizing and all that. So why, but this, just to answer your question, because you're like, we can't be alone. Well, but that's the thing is these aliens could be technically us, and it could be us from an alternate timeline that's not even like us anymore, completely different.
Or are you saying not even futuristic, just from a different timeline that maybe developed at a different rate? Like maybe there weren't disasters weren't spaced the same in their history.
Yeah, like technically on a literal time aspect, they could be 1 million years behind us and coming forward. And this is just now where we're at here. They could have been one of these races that was on this planet like literally 1 billion years ago, or Mars or Saturn or who knows who what. That's what I'm saying is, because there's all of these potentials timeline wise, just in and of that self, yet no shit, we're not alone. There's definitely other stuff out there. There's definitely other entities. And me personally, I think it's this entire like collective of things. It's just, it is all in nothing, everything, everywhere, all at once. It really is.
Well, that's the truth of it. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Because if you had a divine perspective, that's how you would view everything.
I would assume so. If I'm truly like benevolent and peaceful, omnipotent, and all that.
We've had this before, this conversation about what the experience that we have. You start removing things like physical space, physical reality, tactile objects, time, things like that. You get outside of that realm, that can all be viewed as happening within the blink of an eye. All of everything can be viewed as a single atom in all of its activity within.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I got to get you to watch Interstellar, even if it's just that scene, because you're basically explaining what they do to show what a 3-4D world looks like and how you as a 5th, 6th, or 7th dimensional being could interact with them, knowing that they're built within a time structure and you are not. Like how you can literally cross over in that regard. You would enjoy it just for that, I'm telling you.
I've seen vignettes of it already, but I haven't watched the whole thing through.
I'm just saying,
it's almost like you're viewing a windowed area of time, and then you can, when you approach it, you can watch it kind of pass and interact with it. And
well, put it this way: if instead of seeing time as this thing that traverses in one path,
linear,
instead look at it as you can have a localized set. So as simple as a room in a house. So there's just this one place. Now that one place has its linear time that runs through it. So you can choose anywhere on that time of just that room to be a part of it or not, to slip into it here, there, or wherever, because you can view it as that room on this time. So it's having all of those timelines that run through just this one localized area. And then you can have another room or an outside or a place at a park, somewhere in the water. It doesn't matter, as you have that as a localized place that holds time congruent across those timelines. That's basically what Interstellar teaches you in a spatial mindset is, instead of it being all of this is happening at the same time in the same direction, you can look at it as individual placement, and that in and of itself has its own timelines, as well as any other location.
It's as if you're not looking into a time so much as you're looking into a time within a place.
Basically, and then you can stack all of those together, and now you have literal existence, how we perceive on the 3 and 4D.
Yeah, so trying to visually perceive that is quite a feat. And that, from what I saw of that movie, it is pretty impressive in that effect.
That's what I'm saying. Just watching that scene, you would get such a sense spatially of what what I'm basically trying to explain is I see it as, because I mean, you get all these timelines that are, running, like you said, linearly and literally
in a linear fashion.
Thank you. Linearly, literally.
Oh, linearly. That'll be a good one.
But that's the thing is, so as you look at it, you can see there's these 4, 8, 12, there's all these, but they're all stacked this way. But that's just looking at it from, a 90-degree perspective. So you're seeing it like this. If instead you're now looking at it this way, you can now see that there's all of those, but then there's all of these other stacked timelines around it. It's almost as if you have the source, which is, the core, then all of these offshoots that come out of it almost as like rays of light, but they're infinite because within all of that space, you can still have another one, and there's still space between those, and you can have another one, and there's space in between those, and so on and so on and so on. So you can literally get infinite timelines that all still go back to the same source. I think that's the idea of what we keep talking about, or at least the spiritually minded individuals, of going back to the source, or, being a part of the whole and seeing things on those different levels and being all of these different dimensions that you can exist within. And if I were to spatially try to, you know what I mean?
When I think about the term going back to source, what it makes me think of is finding time for yourself to find a moment in time where you can make your life timeless by going into a deep meditation and just relaxing. Whether it's, everybody has their own method, whether it's with nature, whether it's with music, whether it's with working out, whatever it is for you. But finding that moment to just forget about whatever you need to do tomorrow, in the next 2 hours, whatever, and just be in the moment. Right? That's the place to be.
Yeah.
How come it always goes this direction?
Well, because that's, I think, the kind of existence that you and I have come to agree upon is the way of truly existing, to be at its most impeccable, raw state. Just try to enjoy everything for what it is. Learn something, laugh at it, smile, whatever. Does it just resonate on that kind of a frequency? Just be dope at whatever you do. Like I said, if you want to be a whiny little bitch, just be the best little whiny little bitch that you can, I guess. Everybody's got to play their part,
It's so funny because when I'm most like that,
what a whiny little bitch.
It's with the little shit.
Yeah.
Big stuff happens and I handle it like a freaking champ, and it doesn't make any sense. Like really freaking life-changing, scary shit can happen, and for some reason the world goes still for a moment. I don't know why. Like, it's the little shit that just drives me nuts. And that's the worst part of it, because there's way more than that. Way more of that than anything else.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I think it's normal. It's normal for people to be like that, to freak out on the little stuff.
Dude, it takes a lot to rile me up, I guess. But I've also just dealt with enough bullshit at this point in my life that it's just like, fuck it.
I just want to get to the point where I don't even see it as bullshit anymore. It's just like, oh, another human being trying to communicate with me. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, right. We were communicating.
Well, I mean, that's okay. So this is the lesson that this person is teaching me today.
Well, but that's what I'm saying is, to me, that takes patience. You, that's what takes you, but that's what takes you to being impeccable, seeing it for what it is. This individual acting in this fashion allows me to be a part of this existence in this means, which means I get to, on this time, learn something. Enjoy that. So yeah, instead of being like, screw you for cutting me off, you can just be like, you know what? You taught me to just be patient today. Thank you.
I think in Kabbalah, they refer to it as finding the golden sparks within any situation. So trying, always being mindful of how is it that I can take the information that's given me from another human being and and turn it to something good. You know, even if it comes out seeming like very hurtful statement, it could be flipped around and be made into something beautiful at the end.
Right.
And having a focus on that, it's like being able to have an internal mantra that keeps you on focus with having a certain attitude towards the life that feels like it's coming at you. It's not truly coming at you. You're experiencing everything with it. But again, because we have that linear mindset, we feel like the world is coming at us like we're in a video game, moving back and forth through.
Well, yeah, because I think the expression that I've heard that I like is things don't happen to you, they happen for you.
For you or with you? That you chose.
What to me, for you would be the same as with you, but it's more literal in the aspect of it's here for you.
That's the really disturbing part that I keep coming back to is I chose this.
Yeah, you're under that mindset that this is basically a big learning ground. But that's why I call it the Grand Theft Auto meat suit video game. You set all the parameters of I'm going to play the game this time, but now I'm going to put it on hard and I'm going to do da 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 da.
Part of it is that ignorant side of me that believes that me is something that is universal, or not universal, but
interdimensional.
No, that part of me that is that will live forever. That part of me is not just me. It's everything.
Immortal.
That's immortal. Sorry. Yes.
This is where, I mean,
you want to stop recording? No, I'm sorry.
If you believe that you're in existence where these are things to think about or be a part of or have happen, then that's the timeline that you exist upon. This is what I was talking about last time, was like the whole law of attraction thing is you basically, with the choices you make and the thoughts that you have, can direct yourself, whether you think you are or not, across these different timelines to, like I said, Donkey Kong level, jump up or down or, to the side or whatever you want to say, which I mean, in all honesty, you can go in any of those directions. Almost like in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure when they're in the wires of time or whatever, or the lines of time, or I forget what the hell it is, when they're in the phone booth and they're going through and it's basically like all this fiber optic cable wraps within itself.
Right. Yeah.
It's basically as if on the outside, that's what it is just each timeline is an existence of light coming from the source. Yeah, on a single strand. And you can jump from line to line. And just because you can jump from line to line doesn't mean that you're only doing it on a singular line and you're just jumping from place to place in time, physically on a geographical level, or as well as like literal chronological.
So wait, you're talking about shorting out?
I don't know what you mean by that.
Like, so you're on a wavelength here on a certain beam of your own and you jump across.
Yeah.
So like tripping multiverses.
Well, I mean, if you're linking them, then yeah, I guess, because you're carrying over. But I'm saying just literally jump. Just boop, now I'm on this existence.
You've arced over to that other location.
Yeah, I mean, that's a way, yeah, sure, if that's what you want to call it.
I don't know. It's a really interesting visual representation of the expression that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Again, I think the truth would be much more hard to put a.
What are you doing like booby grab over there?
Because it has to do with
it's ineffable. I can't.
Trying to create imagery that would express that in a way that's really truly what's going on. But really, that's all a creation as well.
And if that's the belief that I have, then I'm in that existence on that timeline.
That thought is above all of that. That even that is my attempt to perceive something that is imperceivable.
Yeah.
Which is a beautiful thing, because that is a deep meditation right there. Just allowing yourself to go into that moment and think about that to that depth You're in that zone right there.
Yeah, man. It's I think for me is it went from this is an oh my God mind fuck to more of an acceptance that this is not only feasible, most likely, because it would explain so many things, but again, because that's my belief system, I'm in that existence on that timeline. So at any point in time, I can decide to be different or change my thoughts or beliefs and move myself to another timeline. So that's why it's like, then just be the best you that you can be and enjoy every little thing that you got, because
in the moment.
Yeah.
That's the important part you have to add, is in the moment. Because that's what brings it full circle, because how you react to that life-changing experience is going to determine whether it's actually life-changing to the extent it needs to be, or it's just looked over as, oh, it's just another BS story. It's as real as you need it to be at that moment.
Basically, yeah.
Right? That's the truth of it, is that as long as something positive comes out of it, and that's a hard mantra to keep in your mind at all times, right? Is,
well, but that goes to
I
the question,
draw something positive out of even the most negative seeming situation.
and that to me, that just begs the question of what is positive, what is negative. We're just going back to the idea that these are signifiers. These are words that we use to paint a construct or a word picture.
If you were to try and find a way to define that being a human being, it's how can I find a way to take something that is not something you would define as love and turn it into love?
Okay, I mean, I like that, but I guess my deeper,
and again, that leaves you something else that's not completely tangible, but you get what I'm saying. Like,
but to me, that just takes,
it's all about intention.
I get that, but that to me just takes it even further to go to, well, then what is love, and why does that mean that it's good or positive or bad? Because any and all of those things have to exist in order for the existences for us to have to experience. So in that sense, any and all things that are in existence in order for our existence to exist, that good as we would define it?
It sounds like more of a Buddhist perspective that if turmoil should befall me today, it's because that's the lesson that I needed for today.
Well, but that's something you can take from it. I get that.
Then it's only going to make me a better person.
But again, that's you rationalizing what that experience is for.
Again, that's you having an imagination that, you know, it looks like a bundle of cables. You know, reality is what you make of it.
But again, that's my question about all that is, any and all of these things are good or bad, are good or are bad, or they're just a part of
that call.
All of these things are just a part of these things. So you accept them for what they are. To me, being impeccable is there is no good, there is no bad, there is no in between.
There's an ebb and flow.
It is all things that is intertwining and dancing on a continuous basis.
That's from the perspective of the everything. But from the perspective of a human being, you know the difference between good and bad. Like,
well, but again, those are signifiers.
You know
those
what
are
you need as a human being, and to take that away from someone else, you know that that's not right. Like, if there's a simpler way to put it, I would. But
again, what is any and all of that? Why do you have to sit there and say it and qualify it and be a part of that? That's, to me, all of these things still have to exist. So to me, accepting all of those things is going beyond placing blame or good intentions or any and all of these signifiers to promote these different ideas or mindsets or beliefs or constructs. Why is it that we can't just be the whole I am? Why can't we? Like, what is it? I mean, I feel as though we all are already this.
Why does it have to be a lesson you need to learn? Maybe this is just an experience you wanted to have. And that's a really weird way to think about it, because the most terrible thing could happen to you. Yeah. And I think that's why the focus should always be on forgiveness, because that's the best way for you to make it through.
But again, this is why I keep saying, man,
that's a construct. No, I get it. But those constructs are rooted in our DNA.
No, that's your belief system.
It's not just emotion, and a frequency range. It's a frequency
range. But maybe it is.
That maybe was needed for our survival, because it sent out the right signal to the universe to know what we needed at that moment. It's an ebb and flow. So if you think of it from that perspective, it's the same thing.
Exactly.
But there is a good and bad.
In your perception and your belief system.
No, it's the same thing as being there is a light and a dark.
Again, that is your perception in your existence.
The truth of that, if I can somehow back up what you're saying right now and just repeating,
you try to mirror me right now,
is that it's not black and white. Is that all of this is on a scale. It's on a sliding scale. So who's to determine what's good and bad is all a matter of perspective.
But that's what I'm saying is, I think that I'm at that place where, as you said, deep thinking, multi-layered, but for me, it's more of, like I was saying in the last episode, was their thought experiments, their speculation. It's fun. In the meantime, the current existence that I'm a part of, timeline wise, has X, Y, and Z, and I have to interact with those components. So I still have to make everyday life choices. This isn't like I can just go to sleep and then wake up tomorrow and I'm in a totally new existence, which in all honesty, I could if I believed it enough.
In truth, man, you just gotta be. That's all you gotta do, man.
To me, be impeccable, see things not as good or bad, but what they are. A bee stings you, not good or bad. A bee stings you. That's it. That's all it is.
Well, to make the assumption that the experience is just that. It's an experience. And that's what I was saying. I've had moments where the really terrible stuff happens and I'm just like, wow, this sucks. And it's like you almost break the fourth wall with reality. It's almost like you look out at the imaginary camera in front of you and just imagine, you're looking at the creator of everything and going, thanks.
That's why I'm like, my big epiphany of it all is just fucking try to enjoy it as best you can. Know that you can change and make choices and it can put you in different places. All of these potentials are viable. They're just there. They're going to be there whether or not you think of it or don't think of it, or have thought of it or won't think of it. You know what I mean? Like,
my favorite though is something that's just a really, like a day, a week ruiner, a month ruiner, whatever you want to call it. Like, this is the worst thing that happened this month. And in the midst of it, just kind of look up at the sky and go,
My typical when these scenarios happen is I look up at the sky and just go, you got jokes? Okay. I see you got jokes.
That's okay.
All right. You got jokes. Cool.
And just roll with it.
Pretty much.
Right. Well, it looks like I'm taking the day off. You know?
Because again, even though I have these belief systems and my existence, I still have things that I currently have to interact with. Like I said, there's X, Y, and Z components that in this construct require my interaction. So I have to make choices. I have to deal with obligations and responsibilities, as we would call them. I have to play my part. Might as well enjoy it.
If only responsibilities weren't so closely tied to benefits.
Not always.
Most of the time.
I mean, cognitive behavioral therapy.
I mean,
it's a carrot in front of you.
Do you have to accept any responsibility if you don't care about having anything?
I mean, you could do nothing, but then you would die because you eat and drink.
I don't know. I hear you can make a good bundle just panhandling.
There are people that
Make quite a living.
they do indeed. They look like bums, and then at the end of the day, they go and get in their Mercedes.
I've heard those stories. I don't know if they're actually true. I haven't seen it with my own eyes, but
they are and they aren't, and they
but
do and they
they're not paying
don't.
taxes.
Who knows?
They're not, who are they going to pay taxes to? They don't get an income.
I don't know if they're paying bills. And there's
Are they supposed to claim their tips? Does that mean it's time?
I think it does.
This is all going to be in the credits, apparently.
As always, fam, hit us in the comments. Tell us what's resonating with you. Things that you thought of, what your experience, what do you believe? What parts of this conversation do you agree with or disagree with? Any and all that stuff.
Hit us up. Hit me.
In the face.
In the face. Whatever.
As well as be good to yourself, good to everything else.
Much love.
Peace.
Peace. It's great, man.
All right, I'm going to go push buttons.
You want me to push this one, or you want me to just push your button like I've been doing? How we doing this? You want me to hit this one over here?
You haven't even finished your first beer.
Strong beer, though.
Well, that is true.
That's all of it.
I'm out as well, so.
And you just totally lost me on my train there. I don't know.
I got it. I don't got it.
I don't got nothing.
Wait, you did it? No, it's not.
Beer's delicious.
It has B vitamins, by the way.
It does. I don't know if I've mentioned that recently, but that's important to note. A plethora.
Thank you.
I'm just saying, that's
Who knew?
a perfect example of exactly what I was just talking about. Exactly what I was just talking about.
More bloopers. I do in fact like
Stop
Mexico.
calling me blooper. No, I didn't. What? Yeah. What?
When you talk, you gotta do it on the mic.
I'm right here.
When you.
Thanks.
Yeah, man. Because you gotta be like, thanks.
I think you're making too big of a deal of it.
I am not, because I'm the one that has to deal with the audio later.
This gonna be in the bloopers too.
This probably right now is.
The credits running right now.
I
I love you, man.